Hi, I'm Dave Morgan, the CEO and founder of Simulmedia, and I'm really excited to be part of the Take the Lead. Hi, audience. Followers. The first thing that makes a successful leader is the capacity to engender trust among others that are willing to follow you. So it's not just knowing where you're going, where you want to go, why you want to do it, but you have to be able to convince others to trust you to go along on the journey. And I think the only way that you can gain followers and build a business there is to be fully transparent about what you don't know, to explain why you believe in your vision, and to be able to create enough excitement and enough reality to it and paint enough of a picture that people are willing to jump in and risk their lives, their careers, their reputations, and take the leap with you. I think the most important thing in leadership is you have to have an imagination, and you have to believe in what's possible, and you absolutely cannot focus on what's impossible. You have to basically be willing to accept is that tomorrow is not today. And so, the smartphone market when the iPhone was launched was probably about 3 or 4% of all phones in the United States. Probably less number than that. And if you looked at the smartphone market and you focused entirely on the Trio or the BlackBerry, it wouldn't have been a great phone. It wouldn't have captured the imagination of the world. And so you have to recognize tomorrow's not today. And the more you keep trying to repeat today, tomorrow, and say that's the future you're going into, you're just going to keep worrying about stuff that's not actually the market you're building in. Every business I've been part of, and it's probably similar in life, is a series of decisions at a fork in the road. And you have to recognize you have a fork in the road, which means there isn't a middle path. So compromise doesn't work here. You have to recognize that you have to go right or go left at that fork in the road. You have to make all inevitable decisions today. If you spend your time waiting at the fork in the road for some other signals to tell you where to go, you're going to find yourself waiting in the fork in the road for no good reason and basically missing your market. And so then it's helpful to have a sense of true north. You have to have a vision that's bigger than your decision on that fork in the road. And you have to communicate that to the colleagues that are with you and say, I'm going right, I'm going left, I'm going right. And you have to be able to be as transparent as you can with your point of view. But analyzing the fork in the road or splitting the difference in the fork in the road are two great ways to find disaster. I don't know that it's either, and maybe it's a little bit of both. I think you have to have a belief structure. The most important thing to be able to cause people to give you their trust is you have to have a really strong point of view, and you have to believe it. Now, that doesn't mean it's a religious point of view, and it doesn't mean that you wake up every day and you try to decide, was the sun on this angle or that angle. You actually should have some rationality behind it, and then you need to follow it. And so, I don't find myself saying, oh, I sort of feel a little better about this. I really try to think, what do I believe in? And is this consistent with my belief or inconsistent with my belief? And more often than not, the bad decisions are going against your core belief structure because you feel you need to balance it out for some other reason to rationalize it. There's never just one right strategy. But whatever strategy you pick, you will have to stay with it consistently. What is certain is if you try every one of the 5 different potential strategies, you will have failure. The most important thing you need to do is you need to walk through the door. So many people are expecting that someone is going to anoint them, give them something, and make everything automatic and complete and easy. And I think that those that have been successful have been the ones that have taken the step, walked through the door, saw an opportunity, made a movement through uncertainty, put themselves at a disadvantage or risk. I need help here. I want to know how to do this. I heard a story when I worked at Time Warner, after having sold a company to them, in the handoff from the CEO, Dick Parsons, to the next CEO, Jeff Bewkes. And he had been he was plucked out of a basketball player that got a law degree and was working in a government office, which was sort of the lowest level for a law graduate. But fortunately, the governor of New York, where he worked, was Nelson Rockefeller, and Nelson Rockefeller counseled him and mentored him, and eventually Dick ran Apple Bank and Time Warner and was the chairman of Citibank. And he went to Nelson late in his career and said, "Nelson, why me? Why did you pick me? What did you see in me that caused you to anoint me and give me this extraordinary career?" And Nelson said, "I didn't do anything. You walked through the door. You're the one day that I happened to be in there, and I happened to walk through your office and was sitting in your boss's office, and no one's there. You walked through the door and you introduced yourself and you started asking me questions." So he said, "It wasn't me, it was you."